Hello everyone, my name is Wilson. We're doing a vintage cube draft on Magic Online. We don't have a whole lot of time in this, but just to briefly go over it, I'm going to take Snapcaster Mage here because Snapcaster Mage in a vintage cube draft is awesome. You can snap back, Ancestral Recalls and Time Walks and all kinds of fun business. So we're going to take Snapcaster here, follow it up with kind of a weak vintage cube pack, but I see a couple of standouts here. Going left to right, Restoration Angel, Blinking, Snapcaster Mage is pretty great. Sun Titan is good for also getting Snapcaster back. We got a couple of blue cards, but they're not at the top end of the blue cards. Griselbrand is a good reanimator target, but I feel like in Vintage Cube you can find all different kinds of things to reanimate. So you don't actually need like the Griselbrand at the top of your curve. Fiery Confluence is very interesting to me, and I think I'm probably going to be taking this just because you have the ability just to nug your opponent for 6, and you can't redirect it to Planeswalkers anymore. But in the Vintage Cube, you have a lot of cards that like Signets and Moxen and things like that this can also pick up. Also things like Deathrite Shaman, Stomping Grounds, but we'll take Fiery Confluence. Be pretty happy with that. Also set us up into red-blue, picking up things like Pestermite. So Pestermite paired up with Kiki-Jiki, Splinter Twin, very, very good. We'll just win you the game on the spot if it's not disrupted in any sort of way. So we're going to pick up Pestermite. We're already in those two colors. Red-blue is that deck, so we'll pick up a Pestermite here. Other things to consider here, not a whole lot. There's Grim Lavamancer, but no way I'm taking that third. Basalt Monolith is fine. Poor Kozilek doesn't get a picture unless you actually give him some attention and zoom in on him. Lotus Petal is an interesting addition to Vintage Cube, but we'll take Pestermite here. Be pretty happy with that. So, followed up with, looks like they got some new cards in here. The Benalish Marshal is an interesting addition. There's also Glenalendra. A Braid, I think, is pretty sweet in this cube. Sweltering Suns is a consideration. Baleful Strix, Bloodstained Mire, and a Sundering Titan. I'm going to take, I think it's between Bloodstained Mire, Glenalendra, and a Braid. I'm shying away from the Abrade because we already have a Fiery Confluence, so we already have a way to kill creatures and destroy artifacts. So, I'm not really looking for things to duplicate there. This could pick up, if we decide to splash black, it's good there. But I'm going to take this Glenalendra. I just think that that's probably the best route to go in this sort of deck. Just being able to protect your combo, push through some damage in the air. I'm a big fan. All right, so some interesting things here. There's Young Pyromancer, Commit and Memory, and Creeping Tar Pit are the ones that I'm looking at. I'm not really down on the Creeping Tar Pit because I don't know if we're going to be black. If we're going to be any other color, it's going to be white. Because white allows us to play Restoration Angel, which is another combo with Kiki-Jiki. It's not a combo with Splinter Twin because you can't bounce it. But I think we're going to be taking, oh boy, I'm going to take Young Pyromancer here. Just another way to get our beatdown on and, go from there. Vanillion Click or Burning of Xingyi are our picks here. There's also Lotus Bloom, Gideon of the Trials, doesn't have a picture. But we're looking at Vanillion Click or Burning, and I think I'm going to take the V-Click. It looks like we're going to be, more of a creature, creature-centric beatdown deck. And, if you can stick a Vanillion Click on their turn and then back it up with counterspells, sometimes Vanillion Click can just get there on its own. So we'll take Vanillion Click. And let's see. We got a Rift Bolt, which is, a thing. There's also Crucible of Worlds, and I think I'm going to take this Crucible of Worlds. This would allow us to, if we pick up something like Strip Mine, have pieces of the combo. One thing I like to do in Vintage Cube is at the beginning of the first pack, if I see something with, a 2-card or, a 2-card combo or like a combo that could, go into many pieces, I like to pick those up just to speculate. Crucible of Worlds is going to be good just on its own. If we pick up any sort of like fetch lands, things like that. Otherwise, if we can pick up like a Strip Mine, then we actually have a combo. We can lock our opponents out of the game. Looking at Brainstorm, Char, there's also a Johnny Vengeance. Like I said, if we're going to be dipping into another color, it's going to be white. I'm not really thrilled with Brainstorm or Char here, so I'm going to pick up this Johnny Vengeance and be pretty happy with it. Probe to, make sure that the way is clear for our combos. Or I could pick up Looter Core, which will get us to our combos, which I think I'm going to do that. It also allows us to bin lands to just be able to replay them, get some more value out of it. Lightning Helix, Firebolt, or nothing really. I guess we'll take the... I'll take the Firebolt. It's a good combo with Looter Core. Just being able to put it in the yard and still have a spell for later. It's pretty good. I'll take this Grim Lavamancer. I was talking about it earlier, and it's good to pick that up. See, now we can pick up Abrade. There's also Palinchron that we could have the potential of going infinite, but I'll take the Abrade here. It seems fine. Pick up a Concealed Courtyard. Just free mana fixing is always good. Dissenter's Deliverance is good. And a free Riftbolt. All right. So, we have a pretty good set for a red-blue deck that could possibly splash white for things like balance. Yeah, balance. I don't know if this is going to be a balanced deck. I also haven't seen any signets, so I don't even know if they're in this iteration of the cube. If we're not picking up balance, I think that we're picking up an Arid Mesa. The red cards are not where I want to be, and the blue cards are kind of, below average. So really it's between balance or Arid Mesa, and I'm just going to take this Arid Mesa here. I'd rather have our mana be as solid as possible to be able to support splashes. Also, it combos with Crucible of Worlds. The other choice here would be Coercive Portal, but since I don't have any signets yet, going signet into Coercive Portal is where you want to go. But I just still haven't seen any signets, so I don't even know if they're in this cube. Good to see an Argyl's Bloodfast get into the cube. Good for it. So some interesting things here. We got an Abbot of Carol Keep, a Wheel of Fortune, Geist of St. Traft, Ugin, and then some blue cards. Control Magic isn't bad. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Control Magic is fine. I don't know what we want to be taking here, though. I don't think I want either of these white cards. We now do have a route to splash white if we're doing this. Charter Course isn't bad either. This is a tough one. I mean, the thing is that there's not one card that stands out here as like, oh yeah, I'll definitely take that. So they're all just kind of around the same power level. I think I'm going to take the Geist. Just get our beat down on a little bit more. Here, there's a Wooded Foothills. There's a Monastery Mentor and a Venser. So, question here now is how far down the white rabbit hole do we want to go? Because things like Venser are completely fine. I think I'm going to take this Monastery Mentor. Just knowing how vintage cubes play out, Monastery Mentors do excel in this format, because then you can play things like Moxen. You might even be able to wheel this top. So I'm going to do this, and it looks like we're going to be a little bit more of a white splash than I would have liked. At first, my eye went to the Soulfire Grandmaster, which this card is actually surprising in this cube. Uh, and by surprising, I mean actually surprisingly good. Because you do get the things like, turning Firebolt and Braid on, or even Fiery Confluence to give them lifelink, which is great, but it actually has a secret combo in this cube where you can draft Time Walk, and then pay that 4 mana in the second ability, and take infinite turns, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to take the Zealous Conscripts here. Not only is Zealous Conscripts just a good card, but it also works in this Pestermite Kiki-Jiki Splinter Twin package. So we'll take Zealous Conscripts. The one thing that I'll note here is that we didn't wheel the Restoration Angel, which is kind of a bummer. So the white splash that we're looking to do is not going to get there all the way. Good to see Joyra in the cube, but we're going to take this Kiki-Jiki because now we already have 2 different cards that combo with it. We can take infinite turn, or make infinite creatures and try and win the game that way. I'd like to pick up this plateau, but Kiki-Jiki is just exactly where we want to be. And there's a Splinter Twin. All right, cool. So we did it. Another card I'd like to pick up is Firebluff Canals, but I don't think that we can pass this Splinter Twin. You put it onto Zealous Conscripts or a Pestermite, you just make infinite creatures, win the game. So we'll do that. Let's see. We got a Mom, a Moat, a Siege Gang Commander, and a Magma Jet. Surprisingly enough, I think what I'm going to take here is I'm going to take Magma Jet. Being able to, just use it as a removal spell, hit a Planeswalker, do something like that. The Scry 2 is actually the part that interests me the most on this. And that's what gives Magma Jet its power, is being able to deal those 2 damage at the end of turn and then, set up your next 2 draws is perfect. So now, as much as I'd like to take this Lightning Bolt, I think we have to take Wandering Fumarole just to help our mana out. But Bolt is... Well, can we get away with Bolt? Here's the thing, is that if we don't play white, this is what our deck looks like. We could play Bolt. I do really need some mana fixing. We've already seen a Spirebuff Canal go by. We haven't seen a Steam Vent. I believe Scalding Tarn was in our first pack. Oh boy. I'll take Wandering Fumarole. We do just need the mana fixing at this point. So both the blue cards came back, same with both the red cards. We could take Hazoret. Hazoret's kind of an interesting pick because we are going to be looking to empty out our hand as quickly as possible. So being able to get a quick Hazoret on the board is pretty strong. I'm also looking at Spell Pierce. Maybe it's just Impulse, actually. Yeah, it's probably just Impulse. So what we can do... ooh, actually, Hazoret with Crucible Worlds? No, I'll just take Impulse. I'll just take Impulse. What I was going to say is the Hazoret with the Crucible Worlds, what you can do is you can pitch lands and then be able to just replay them off of the Crucible Worlds. So you're dealing 2 damage to your opponent through Hazoret and then still getting value off of those lands that you're discarding. I'll take the Abbot of Carol Keep. It's a fine boy. Stormbreath, Rishadenport, Mutavault, Shrine. Shrine's kind of wild because with Shrine, it allows us to just have this like inevitable late game that we just throw this down and just go, okay, you got to beat us before the Shrine does, which I think we're going to be taking here. Take the Shrine, Figure of Destiny, bad 2/1, cards we can't play. I guess we'll take the Figure of Destiny. I don't think we're going to be playing it. Joyra came back. I guess we could play Joyra. We have 1, 2, 3 historic cards. Sure. Joyra. Ooh, Manic Vandal. I actually like Manic Vandal in this cube. Manic Vandal in this cube, what that means is that, if we run across any Moxen or anything, we can just nab them. I don't know if this is a main deck card. It's very, very close. But it's close enough where you can start thinking about this as a main deck card, which just shows how good the cube is. So some good cards here. There's a Mox Jet, so it's an off-color Mox. So for us, it would just tap for colorless. There are some good blue cards here. It's a pretty piddly red card, so we're not going to take that. This could help out our white splash, a Celestial Colonnade. I think we got to pass up this Moxen. I don't really see it doing anything great for us. Like, yeah, we could go like, you know, I don't know, Island Moxen Impulse. I don't know. It just doesn't sound exciting to me, especially since we already have a tap land. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Moxen. We could draw a card off of it. It is historic. It's interesting. The other card I'm looking at is like Remand. There is a Wasteland. Wasteland Crucible. Yeah, let's take Wasteland. I didn't even think about Wasteland and Crucible. And, you know, now that we're actually talking about it, then that's actually the obvious pick. So there are signets in here. Wonderful. I'm going to take this Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond plus Crucible Worlds is Gasoline. The bane of Standard right now. And some other formats. I've been seeing this played in some other formats. Splashiok and Garrick, Elspeth don't get pictures. Sorry, team. We'll take the Mox Diamond. Pretty happy with that. Followed up with a easy Volcanic Island. Probably the easiest Volcanic Island I've ever seen. While we have this time picking up an easy Volcanic Island, let's talk about Goblin Dark Dwellers. Goblin Dark Dwellers is gas in this cube. It's so good. Like, if you already have something like Time Walk or Ancestral Recall, like, that's just an amazing card. But just being able to play like a 4/4 with Menace, you know, is just like exactly where you want to be in this cube. You know, just playing threats, getting card advantage, you know, playing hard to deal with threats like Lightning Strike and Lightning Bolt, like, don't deal with it. So I think Goblin Dark Dweller is an underrated card in the cube, and I think it's pretty great. But we're going to take this Volcanic Island. Be pretty thrilled with it. Speaking of underrated cards in the cube, there's not really anything for us here. There is an Eidolon, a Burst Lightning, and the Ancient Grudge. We do have the green to splash the Ancient Grudge to get the flashback off of it. So I'm not thrilled about it. There's not even like good white cards to, you know, go after here. This is a tough one. I think I'll just take, I'm going to take the Ancient Grudge. I don't know if this is the right pick here, especially since we don't have any like obvious ways of getting green, but I think that this is fine. Let's see. We can't do anything busted with LED except for Crucible of Worlds. Nah. Let's see. Underground Sea. Nah. Inkwell Leviathan. Nah. So there's Magus and there's Exquisite Firecraft, which are both in this pack. Which those are, you know, okay. They're alright. I guess we could pick up the Exquisite Firecraft. It's good with the Young Pyromancer. It's good just getting in that last little bit of damage. Yeah, we'll pick that up. Alright. What do we got here? We got an Inferno Titan and a Duretti as the cards that we're looking at. We haven't really seen much in the way of blue, which is kind of a bummer. Is this legendaries? That is legendary. So Duretti works great with things like Crucible of Worlds, not just in the way that you can discard your lands and then bring them back with Duretti, or bring them back with Crucible of Worlds, you discard them with Duretti. But it's also good that if your Crucible of Worlds gets blown up, or, you know, if we want to use Shrine and then bring it back and then start taking it up again, we can do that. I think Inferno Titan is fine, but I don't think that's where we want to be at. I think we want to be Durettiing people. Durettiing. There's a Chain Lightning, an Augur Bolus, but also a Chrome Mox. I'm going to take this Chrome Mox here. Because Chrome Mox, what that's going to allow us to do is be able to imprint something dumb like an Impulse or a Firebolt, and then get up into this like 3 and 4 mana range even faster. Augur Bolus is, you know, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells that we could hit off this. That's like pretty bad odds. So we'll take the Chrome Mox. Be pretty happy with that. Show and Tell coming around a little too late. Little too late. There's a Thundermaw and a Fire Blast. Yeah. It's also a Sword of Fire and Ice, which we do have quite a few creatures to be able to make that work. I don't want Fire Blast. I think I'm going to take this Sword of Fire and Ice. Not happy with it, though, but... Ooh, Riftwind Cloudskate coming back is fantastic. This is a great card. This is a fantastic card to pick up. So we'll take that. Whirler for the sideboard over nothing. Okay. Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike may replace something like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, but we'll take it. Karakas is an interesting choice here because it just, if we do end up going for that that white splash, you know, just having a Karakas in there is just better than you know, just having a, you know, basic planes. So it looks like a fine deck. We got to cut a few cards. Like I'm thinking, I don't know. Like I'm thinking maybe Firebolt because it's kind of derpy. Take a Shambling Vent. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we run 16 lands, a Mox, and a Chrome Mox. A couple of Mox. Pick up our own Mox. Make your own Mox. That's what I have to say about that. We could cut one more card. Our curve does top out at 5. So it's not that bad. Take a High Tide as our last pick. All right, all right. Yeah, I think this should be fine. What are we thinking here? We got the good basic lands. Nice. It's the best lands. All right, so we have one way of searching up red. So we'd have 7, 8, 9, 10 red sources. Seems fine with 5, 6, 7, 8 blue sources. That's not counting these two. 8 blue sources. We got a double blue. We only have one double blue card. That seems fine. This looks good. All right, all right. We got some things to like deal with artifacts and, you know, be able to you know, combat show and tells and the like in our sideboard. All right, I like this. Cool. Well, I will see you all for round 1.